Hi everyone, welcome to another TechNerd tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at two Gmail labs to help improve sending emails. These two labs are undo send and canned responses. So today we're going to look at two labs to help with sending emails. Now when we create emails in Gmail, we would hit the compose button in the top left and we'd have our email message pop up. If I go ahead and send this to a user, so I'm just going to use another sample user and give it a subject and a message. Oftentimes if I am attaching a file, I would say that there's an attachment or I'd reference it somehow. So here I'm writing to check the attachment I've attached. It is very important. And here I'm not going to attach a file, I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. Google will notice that I've written I've attached and it will double check that I didn't attach a file and it will give me the option to cancel the send and then go ahead and attach my file. This is linked to the text I have attached, so if I remove that, and even if I had the word attachment in the subject or in the message, if I hit send, it's going to go ahead and send that email without a warning. Therefore, there is an additional feature I can turn on in Gmail that will allow me to give some time to retrieve this message. I need to go to the settings gear and into settings. This is going to be found under labs, the third option from the right, and it does say that this is experimental features which are not fully integrated. However, they do tend to stick around for a while. We're looking for the undo send. We want to go ahead and enable it by clicking the enable radio button and then scrolling to the bottom and clicking save changes. Now when the Gmail is finished reloading, when I create a message, if I accidentally hit the send button, I'll have a limited amount of time to retrieve that email. For example, in the compose field, I go ahead and say the to, the test, and then go ahead and put another message. If I now go ahead and send this, in the yellow border at the top, I'll get a pop-up that allows me to click undo. When I click it, I'll get the message back. I'm going to hit send again, get the yellow bar, there's the undo, and after a period of time, the default is 10 seconds, that undo button is going to disappear. Then I'll no longer have the option to see and retrieve that message. So now it's gone. I do have the option to view the message. This can sometimes be confusing because when I click the view message, I would just see the message. Now this is the issue, is that if I sometimes click the view message instead of the undo, what will happen is it'll take me to a new screen, and in that new screen I will no longer have the option to click the undo. So here I click view message, see the message, but I don't have the yellow bar anymore to click the undo. So now I've lost my opportunity to undo this message as well. For me to change the length of the undo, I can go ahead back into settings, but this time in general, if I scroll down a little, there's going to be an undo section, and I'll have the enable undo send checked off. I can select my cancellation period to be between 5 and 30 seconds. So this isn't something where I get to retrieve something from yesterday or a few minutes past. I only have a few seconds delay. And then if I make any changes, please don't forget to scroll all the way to the bottom and hit save changes. The next lab we want to enable is called canned responses. This is to deal with those messages that when you type the messages, these are messages that you repeat over and over and over again. And some people will keep some of these messages stored on things like Word files to just copy and paste. Here in the settings, we can go ahead and enable it in the labs. Going to close this message box. So I'll go back to labs, and this particular lab is going to be canned responses. So I scroll and I want to enable canned responses, and this will then save some messages so that I can recall them later. So now scroll to the bottom and hit save changes, and then now this feature is going to be readily available in Gmail when I'm composing messages. So when I compose messages, I do want to create some canned responses for me to be able to use. So in the message field, I would begin by typing in the message that I would like saved. So here I'm just going to do a confirmation email for something like a help desk. And it's going to just say that the message is received and it's needed to be directed to the right person and they'll get back to you. So a very standard confirmation email if you are somewhere on a front desk or doing reception work to just confirm that you've received a message, they'll get a response. So now that the message is typed out and formatted into what I want it to look like, in the menu in the bottom right there is canned responses, and I can click on new canned response. It will ask for me to give it a title, so I'm going to name it confirmation, and then I'm going to hit OK, and now this message is saved. So that now if I discard this in a future message, if I go ahead and hit compose and I need this message again, I can go ahead and in the message field go to canned responses, and at the top under insert hit confirmation, and there is my message. A few things to note is that if I want to make any changes to this message in the future, I can first call up the message like I just have, then I can go ahead and make changes. So here I am adding in another sentence to this particular message. I go back to the drop-down menu, back to canned responses. Under the save, I can go ahead and click confirmation. And then I can go ahead and hit OK. And now this entire message is saved for the next time to use. Didn't have to add things. I could have just made some changes to the sentence there, and I would be able to go ahead and insert the new message with its changes. One thing to note is because it is an experimental feature, it is a little strange because confirmation, the title, is found in 3 different locations. So delete, insert, and save. It's not the best interface, but it does tend to work quite well. Other things to note with this particular response is that I can string them together. So for example, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a second canned response. So I'm just going to say that this is another part of the message. I'm going to go ahead and save this as a second canned response. So I'm going to click on new canned response, give this name, and then go ahead and hit OK. So now if I go ahead and go into a new message, I can now string these different messages together. So canned response, I can insert the confirmation one, and then right below that I can insert the new message one. So now I can save different parts of an email and just insert the parts that are necessary. So maybe a confirmation acceptance and a confirmation rejection, be able to string them together. The other thing to note is that in the settings, you are only able to have a single signature for your account. But maybe your position or your administrator's position has multiple signatures that they go by. Well, instead of using the Google's inbuilt signature system, I can go ahead and create signatures and save them in canned responses. So here I'm just making one where my title is going to be a consultant. I'm going to put our business phone number and our email address. And then from there I'm going to save this as one type of signature. So go back into the drop-down menu, canned responses, save this as a new canned response. I'm going to title this signature 1. From there, hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and discard this message, and I'm going to now create a new message with a new signature in here. I'm going to make this signature a little bit more formal by calling myself a business analyst of Tech Nerd Services, and from there still put in the regular contact and email information. So this one is going to be a little bit more formal, ones that I may be sending out to new clients and they would prefer a business analyst title instead of just a consultant. So here I have this one now ready and made. I can now go ahead and in the canned responses save this as a new canned response as signature 2. From there, now when I go ahead and create a new message, if it has some of those pre-made canned responses, go ahead and insert one of those canned responses, and then after that I can go ahead and insert the appropriate signature. and then go ahead and send this message. So this makes the composing of many pre-made messages much simpler than having to type them all out over again. For some of you Outlook users, you'll notice that this is very similar to Quick Parts. It is basically the same feature, but now available in Gmail. Hi everyone, thanks again for watching this video. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have any additional questions or comments. Furthermore, check out some of our related videos or find us in our social media. If you would like email notifications of whenever we release new video or written tutorials, you can go to our webpage technerdservices.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter. We will send to your inbox notifications of those new video and tutorials. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, keep teching on.